Got a lot of chief built up in there. How's it going, T-Bows? Welcome. Honestly, after Magic's last few standard formats and the current state of Modern, I think the gameplay in Hex is actually just better than recent Magic gameplay. Excuse me. The formats are a lot more balanced at the very least. So opponents playing Uzu, which for 4 charges gives them a threshold of their choice. So usually this is a necrotic deck of some sort. Let's go ahead and start on a slow shard here. Remember, we only need a single Sapphire threshold, which this Sapphire shard is going to provide. So we're going to want to make sure we prioritize getting to triple Ruby because we do have Fireballs in our deck still. I have changed the champion to Dreaming Fox from the champion that the other just mono Ruby deck was playing. Dreaming Fox has 1 more point of life and doesn't require you to discard a card at random. Not 100% sure what my opponent's deck is doing here, but I'd be surprised if both these Crackling Bolts are going to end up being lives. I'm going to take one of them and just point it upstairs and use my resources this turn. It gets me an extra charge towards my Dreaming Fox activation, so... Hey, Coach, Ace. Hey, the gang's all here. Welcome, folks. Nagan Lapidary. So when this deals combat damage to me, they get to sacrifice this, or void it, sorry, exile it, and gain control of a troop I control. So we'll just make sure we kill that off before we play troop. We'll go ahead and play Lanupa's Sight here, which is a basically 3-cost draw 3, but the draws are delayed. The next action, resource, and troop in our deck will draw a card when we play them now. He's on Lixil. Alright, well, I mean, I'm glad I have 4 Transmogrifades in our 75 then. And look, there's our first draw from the Lanupa's Sight, so we'll play that and we'll draw a card. When in doubt, never not Dreaming Fox. Exactly. So yeah, we'll go ahead and pass the turn here. And this Dark Heart also is going to draw a card when we play it out. We'll burn this at our opponent's end step. Actually, I'm just going to go ahead and burn it now. Might as well just take it off the table. Our Dark Heart's text on making them sacrifice non-socketed cards probably is going to be kind of mediocre in this matchup. Although I guess this does kill Lixil, right? So I guess it's not completely useless. But they probably have a lot of socketed cards. Alright, let's go ahead and play this out, and then play out this Dark Heart in Null Zone. My opponent doesn't have any cards that's going to make them sacrifice, but it is just a 4/4 that has Swift Strike and deals double damage, which is just going to kill my opponent fairly quickly. Howdy, Immortals. Not be surprised to see you to Transmogrifade here at end step. Yeah, okay, what do we get? At the start of your turn, sacrifice a card and draw a card. Alright, so we're just going to sacrifice this to itself and draw a card next turn. That's pretty sweet. Their core is probably Lixil and Infant Tricks. Yeah, I guess that's fair. I guess Dark Heart's actually going to do some work then. So my opponent's activating their champion power to get an extra threshold. So while Uzu helps them fix their thresholds to like play more obnoxious things, it does come at a real cost because they basically don't have a champion power. So once that fixing's done, like the extra charges they get in the late game, unlike, you know, our champion where it creates an Oracle Song to let us draw more cards, you know, their champion, they're just going to flood out once they don't need the fixing. There's Lixil, the Deathless Gem. So if my opponent does not have another Transmogrifade, we're going to make them sacrifice sacrifice this Lixil. And beginning of our turn, we sacrifice this to draw a card, draw another card, slow shard. Perfect. Let's go ahead and play this out. So we've got all the rubies we're going to possibly need. So I'm just going to go ahead and make a sapphire just to possibly bluff having something else that could be relevant, like a counter magic. Is it a flavor fail that Darkheart kills the Deathless Gem? Because she's technically a gem. She's a Deathless Gem, but she's technically a gem. Yep, that's exactly right, Ace. I think, honestly, I think that's part of the thing that's been holding these necrotic decks back. I think if there is a good... It's like, this card's very powerful. I think if there is a good Lixil the Deathless Gem deck in this format somewhere, I would not be surprised if it doesn't involve Uzu as the champion. So my opponent did not kill my Dark Heart there, which is pretty huge for us. That means they likely can't. So I'm going to go ahead and Crackling Bolt this. And the reason why I'm doing this is my opponent would have to sacrifice it on their turn anyways, but I want to just go ahead and push through 8 points of damage with this Dark Heart. Opponent got second blood, so they probably have Hero Falls in their deck, so I'm just going to go ahead and play this second Dark Heart out since Hero Fall would take it away from us anyways. And now we've got, 16 points of damage sitting in play, so let's go! Don't extinction me, bro. And even if he extinctions me, I've got 2 draws from my Dreaming Fox coming up. I've got an extra draw on this, and then this will be 3 draws in the bank. So we're going to see a lot of cards even if they extinction us here. And if they don't extinction us, they're probably just going to die. Alright, opponent gets to draw some cards and gain some life. Oh, they don't get to draw cards. They already had 4. Alright, never mind. The threshold, maybe, and I mean, like, I feel like that's a lot of people, they're not like evaluating, what's the word I'm looking for? They're not oh, he's almost dead here, so Burning Tendrils hits this for 3 and them for 2, and again, I'm killing that because if they chump block, it's like they're gaining 8 life, so I'd much rather just like, alright, hit you for 16 here. Boom! Dark Heart hits like a truck. God, that's good. Yeah, exactly. I think they're definitely more likely to have Hero Fall than they are to have Extinction in their deck. Oh, yeah. Bring down the Dark Heart Hammer. Transmogrifade sounds great. What else seems good? Mass Poly Dingler probably isn't unreasonable. I always like having one of those on the board of this style of deck. It is a double Sapphire card, but we won't need that. We won't be playing this until 8, so we probably have time to get a second Sapphire Threshold by then. Burn's probably a little bit medium. I think I'd rather have Crackling Bolt than Burn. It's a little bit more reach, and it adds charges, so it technically helps us draw cards. I'm not sure if I want any of the other cards in here. I could see Verdict of the Ancient Kings being not completely unreasonable. You know what? Opponent likely has Infinite Tricks in their deck, so these Crimson Bolts are probably better than the Burns. Even the gate. Yeah, actually, the one gate's probably fine. And yeah, I'm going to trim a Dark Heart, even though having 2 out there was good. I think the risk of getting, what's it called? Getting them Hero Fall out of us is pretty large. Yeah, exactly, Ace. Expect Clash. Really? I mean, Clash doesn't do anything against us. We can just, like, pace our threats, and, like, trimming a Dark Heart's good against that, too. Yeah, I think I'm happy to board like this. I wouldn't hate fitting in this as a Zakir, just as like an additional threat for some diversity, but I don't think I have anything that I immediately want to cut. Perhaps one of these Burn to the Grounds could go. This seems reasonable. Let's give this a try. Yeah, it seems pretty reasonable. Our Rift Warp Badgers are gemmed, so they draw 2 cards in this configuration with the blue splash. I have them on create random action when they come into play. Also, like the blue-eyed Badger with the blue socket in it. Like, come on, that's got to be a flavor win, right? Lanu Light was an excellent pickup here. It allows us to hopefully they play a 2-drop here, so we can Crackling Bolt it, and then we can Lanu Light on 3. Chaos Gate, medium pickup. So, I wouldn't be super surprised if they have Verdict of the Ancient Kings in their deck. But I think I still just want to run this Lanoplastite out there, especially now that we hit our next resource. We can just like play the Rift Warp Badger next turn. So yeah, that resolves. We end up pretty far ahead here. So the Badger, his normal text is when he comes into play, he creates a random socketed troop that we can play, and then his gem creates a random action for us. Okay, so naked Lixil like this. They missed a shard drop. Am I supposed to just kill this? Probably. Yeah, probably. They likely have another Lixil in their hand, and that's why they're doing this, but I think I'm supposed to just take the opportunity to get that out of there. Hopefully they go Diamond Shard, Infinite Tricks, and I can Crimson Bolt it. Or Blood Shard, Uzu, Diamond, Infinite Tricks, so I can kill it. Yep, second Lixil as predicted, so this comes into play. It makes them a threshold that they don't currently have. Or it makes the standard deploy, it makes any threshold that's in their deck. But this is now invincible since they have all 5 thresholds. Gonna go ahead and play the Badger out here. Badger, he's a Badger. So he drew us a Archon of Null Zone, which deals double damage and makes actions, and a Vandalize. Vandalize probably not going to be particularly great. Can you bring me the remote that I'll turn your TV back on since you turned it off? Probably playing out this Chaos Gate next turn. Hopefully my opponent commits some more to the board here and we can play the Chaos Gate. Stock. I love just like stock Angus won the event. Beating the other best deck in the finals. Alright, that's pretty good. So Silvertail Adjudicator draws them some cards, but still going to get cleaned up by the Chaos Gate nicely here. Just going to go ahead and throw this under a bus here. It's just going to die anyways. I'd much rather we save 3 life than try and deal them 3 extra points of damage. Hey, look, a Badger that draws a card. This one's going to draw 3 cards. That's great. Play this out. We draw a card because it was Lanoplastite prophesized. Hey, there's a Transmography to deal with the next Lixil. So we're going to get cracked for 6 here, almost certainly. And then, unless they have a way to remove this from the board, they're just going to pass the turn back to us here. I guess they could have like an Inquisition or something. Nope, yep. So Chaos Gate goes off and voids all of the stuff. So if I play this Rift Warp Badger out, we're actually going to have to discard. So I'm just going to keep that in my hand for now because this creates a socketed troop, creates an action, and draws us a card. So just going to pass here. Although I suppose this could be discarded. They probably don't have any artifacts. Hollowed Ace with the 7-month resub. Welcome back and thank you for the continued support. I do appreciate it. Alright, there's a Midnight Paladin. We don't have any life gain in our deck, so that is something we're going to need to watch our resources here. Howdy, all quick. Am I transmogrifating one of these at end step? I don't think so. Now let's just go ahead and start our turn. Hit a Well of Innovation here. I think we definitely have to Burning Tendrils this Stork, because otherwise this gains flight when it attacks, and when this hits us, they can take one of our troops, so... I think I'm going to... I guess I could Burning Tendrils this, Crimson Bolt this, and then use my Champ power to draw 2 cards. That seems okay. And then hit this, and this gets bigger every time we play an action, so we'll go ahead and do all this before we attack. Draw some cards. Mass Polydingler. Ah, it's been a while since we've raised our dinglers, ladies and gentlemen. Do we remember the dingler emote? So, Mass Polymorph Dingler takes every troop they have in play and in their hand and turns them into these ugly, rotten 0-1s. Another Midnight Paladin. That's definitely the way we could lose this game. We could just get burned out by these dorks. Coach with the cheers. Oh, geez. It puts that's really kind of creepy. That I I have mixed emotions. The considering giving hex strikes, I can't get out to as many. How much as a constructed tier 1 deck cost, and is there a significant learning curve? So the two best decks in the format right now are a Ruby aggressive deck and a wild mid-range deck. The Ruby aggressive deck runs for the most optimal list probably about $90 to $100 depending on the price of matriarchs in a given week, and the wild deck's probably about $150 to $180, somewhere in there. And then there's a pretty wide selection of tier 2 decks that can start as low as like 40 or 50 bucks even. Let me, and as for a learning curve, if you are familiar with Magic, the learning curve's not too bad. Hex is a little bit more complicated than Magic on average, but you'll pick it up pretty quickly usually. I'm going to link you Thermok, some budget Hex decks, and then check out these links as well for how to, okay, or MTG bot is dead. Intro to Hex. So the biggest thing to get over is the resource system and learning some cards. So I got a bunch of different choices here. I think I'm just going to play the Rift Warp Badger out here and see what we get. It draws us a card, and then when it comes into play, it creates us a random socketed troop and a random action. Deal 2 damage to target troop. Alright, so we get to go ahead and kill this with our random action. Hold on half a second, sorry. Oh, are you upset? I'd be upset if I turned the TV off too. Oh, toddlers are funny. He's upset that the TV got turned off, and he's the one that turned off the TV. Oh, kids, what you gonna do? I know, it's tough. You were watching the show, and then someone turned it off. It was probably you. Alright, let's go ahead and attack with this 5/5 here, and then we'll probably play this 2/2 Swift Strike out that we got for free here. Have 9 power on the table. We could get burned out by some more Midnight Paladins here, so not playing the Mass Poly Dingler is not playing around more Midnight Paladins, but they've also only seen 16 cards, so the chance of them having 2 more Midnight Paladins to burn us out is pretty low, which I'm sure means next turn they're going to go 8th Shard double Paladin us, but you know. I think that's the correct percentage play is to not play around it. That is not happening, actually, the Flapjacky. I am not going to have... All right, and we won the game. We got a mail. I sold by Lasgar's Vengeance. Look at that. The auction house is so great. I never have to manually sell things, and... What's Midnight Paladin? The Paladin is a 2/2 life drain for 4 that when it comes into play, it deals damage to your opponent equal to the amount of thresholds that you have. So my opponent had all 5 thresholds, so when it came into play, it dealt 5 damage to me, and they gained 5 life. Any and all Magic video content on this channel is on hold up until such a point that I feel inspired to produce Magic content again. I have some articles already mostly done about the decks that I played at the Players' Championship, so I'm going to finish those up and get those published on mtgcardmarket.com, but as far as video content goes, the current Magic formats just aren't terribly exciting to me. WotC is still the same crappy company they've been for a long time, so I'm just kind of sick of promoting their products. There's so many good alternatives out here. Like, Hex's gameplay is so great, and the client's very reasonable, and Eternal's been pretty reasonable. I've been playing some of that, and I just picked up the Pokemon TCG, which sounds childish, but the client's beautiful, and one of my buddies assures me that the gameplay is fantastic, so we'll probably give that a try and stream at some point to see if we agree with his conclusion that the gameplay is great. Pokemon Professor. That's great. One of my buddies has a bunch of different constructed decks on Pokemon TCG Online, and he said I can borrow a bunch of them because it's an actual TCG like Hex, which is great. That's one of the big things that irks me about Eternal is that it's not a TCG, and I have to like grind for cards or put money into a bottomless pit that I'll never get it back out of. So having another TCG makes me excited to try it as well. So I'm gonna lead on the second Ruby Shard here. There might be merit to playing out the Sapphire so I could Transmogrifade, but I think we're pretty unlikely to want to Transmogrifade anything. They'd play on 3 here, and I'd like to play my Fireball on 3 if possible. If possible, have that option. Oracle Song, sure. So they're likely playing Diamond Sapphire Control. I'm going to assume we have the leg up in a control mirror, but, you know, no guarantees. Again, I'm just going to take this Crackling Bolt and send it upstairs. These Riftwarp Badgers each produce 2 cards when we play them, so I just want to make sure we get our hand a little bit empty here so we don't have to discard when we play these out. Yeah, unfortunately, the Paper Magic streams are a ton of work to stand up, and doing here's the cost to playing two different thresholds in our deck. You know, this is a slow shard, so it doesn't make a temporary resource the turn we play it, so we can't play our 4-drop this turn, so a little bit off tempo. Probably not a big deal, but, you know, something worth mentioning. And putting together, like, 16 new decks effectively was going to be a ton of work, and just, like I said, I'm just kind of tired of doing that much work for a company that just doesn't appreciate their customers. Maybe I should have. Yeah, I should have fireballed his dome there because we bricked on a shard here, which means I'm gonna have to discard a card. Hopefully this Badger makes a stinker that we don't feel bad about discarding. So they made an effigy that can make 2 Dreadlings, and it created a Lanupause site. Well, that's excellent. I think I'm actually just bidding this burn to the ground, which feels a little bit bad. I want to hold this Transmogrifade to kill their Dark Hearts, I think. So, yeah, I definitely should have just taken this Fireball and sent it to their dome last turn. And he's brought my Badger to justice. In the standard Angus deck, when do you side in Blamsmith? Zooch. Let me check what Zooch said. Sorry, I'm just looking at my Discord chat and Matt's posted pictures of people assaulting on him. Zooch said you bring in the Blamsmiths in the wild matchup. Alright, what am I doing here? Am I just jamming a Dark Heart? Yeah, I'm just going to jam a Dark Heart. This is like a must-answer card for my opponent. It's not going to make them sacrifice anything, but it hits like a truck. This card deals 8 points of damage with double damage and Twin Strike, so let's just get that going. Time Ripple. Rude. Shard. Shard. It's unfortunate. I'm gonna play out this effigy in Ilzan just in case my opponent has another Time Ripple. That way I can fireball them at end step and not have to discard again. I believe Zooch wrote about that stock Angus deck for 5 shards at one point too, so. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and just fireball this. Gets flight and create a random action. So they've got another Mad Robomancer in their hand, but I just want to go ahead and again get cards out of my hand and get their stuff off the table. If we get a resource, I'm probably playing this out. I don't know, I might play Eldritch Dreamer plus activate this effigy. That seems reasonable too. Yeah, we bricked on a shard again. Yeah, I'm just going to play this other Dark card out and attack for 2 here. Again, this puts them under a lot of pressure. Ideally, we want to play this game in such a way that my opponent's Clash of Steels are not particularly good. There's the Mad Robomancer. So the Robomancer chains are just going to keep going, basically. I mean, the SCG tour doesn't exist next year. There's no culminating event. There's nothing. There's no real reward for having status on. So I basically no, I'm not. This is double sapphire. Holy crap! I didn't realize this. I thought this was single sapphire. Yeah, that's probably a mistake. Huh. We're, we're gonna reconsider this card after this match. What am I doing here? I think I just need to land a pause site here. These Mad Robomancers are probably gonna run us out of the gym. They got rid of the Players Championship for next year, and they are also said they're wiping out everybody's points from this year, like they said they weren't going to. So just that coupled with the fact that I mostly was just traveling for Magic because it's fun. Like you don't make a lot of money actually traveling. Like I make way more money from writing and the sponsorship stuff from than actually traveling, and the sponsorship is pretty minimal from the travel aspect. So. What a god, that is such a blowout. I finally cast the Lanupause site, and his randomly generated action is one that mills me. What a giant dagger. We're probably just not beating these Mad Robomancers, honestly. Replicator's Gambit, my Mad Robomancer. Yep, sure. I mean, they don't even want to feature people that aren't their players in opens. Like, I had some of the most interesting decks at the Players Championship and got exactly one camera match before them. They'd much rather just feature the people that wear their t-shirts over and over and over again. So like that's like further disincentive. Like I was literally at the top of their board for a lot of the season and didn't get and got less feature time than a lot of their players did. So, just like a lot of investment for not a lot of return, and then like that coupled with the fact that like Magic in the last couple of sets have gotten pretty stale even in Modern. Like the format I enjoyed the most preparing for the Players Championship was definitely Legacy, and Legacy's not accessible or available for people to play. So like I'm not going to buy a deck for it, and there aren't a lot of events for it, so why should I bother? Martyr, my Eldritch Dreamer. Yes, sir. You've made a martyr of them. What am I doing here? I think it's just Dark Heart and Attack. I guess I could Burning Tendrils. I get Burning Tendrils plus Sight. That's probably better, like Tramper Prem less Elf into more resource drops here. This adds more pressure to the table, but my opponent likely has answers in their hand to that anyways. That's why. What does Electrify do? Electrify doesn't do anything against these Robomancers. The issue with Robomancer is that he just keeps getting to use them over and over and over again. That's the issue with Robomancer. Oh, we don't have a Psychic Ascension in our deck. I just get Dinglard? Alright, we're done here. I get it. I'm dead. Alright, let's get to the next game here. Again, at the beginning of the year, I probably would have agreed with you that Magic was just like the best TCG of all time, but the last year has definitely changed my opinion of that mindset. All right, Crucible of Morwrath is great. Gets to avoid things out of their crypt to counter their champion ability. Fireball is a pretty solid medium here. Crackling Bolts gets the nod over Fireball. I think not only is it easier to play, but it gives us a charge when we play it out. Mass Poly Dingler is actually an answer to It's actually an answer to the Mad Robomancers. Let's get that in here. Do I want to change gems on these? I'm going to change one of these badgers to Impulse. That way we have 4 things on Impulse, I think. Do I want just more threats? Probably. Yeah, actually, let's just max on threats. What do these guys want? Probably fine with Valor in these, and then this guy can be action, creation, and dreadling. Seems fine. Oh, you know what? He should be action, creation, and valor. Would you like to sit on Dad's lap, Molly, please? Impulse on the Robomancer, huh? That's actually probably not a bad idea. You want some Cheerios? Some Cheerios, some Barney. What's not to love, really? It's a lot of 5-drops. I mean, this is a control mirror. Like we're not exactly racing here. Play this out, get our first Sapphire, pass the turn back. Yeah, Impulse Valor seems great, actually. If we get to a 3rd game here, we'll swap that. Non-zero chance there's Verdict of the Ancient Kings in their deck post reserves, but again, I just want to jam this Landing Post site. They're only more likely to have as the game goes long, and Verdict is something that's almost always going to be live. All right. Right, another Burning Tendrils. This one draws a card now, thanks to Landing Post site. This keeps the card draw when I transform it, right? When I empower it. Anyone know? Judge? I'm pretty sure that's how that works. Missing a shard there kind of hurts, especially when our opponent has one. Shard. Shards. Running 5 drops, the same as a shard. Basically the same thing, really. Cosmic Shamalaman. Ow, Jake, that hurts. Ow. Alright, so we're going to transmog this here. Oh, I should have done this post-combat. He could get a speed unit. Didn't get a speed unit. Let's just play this now to draw a card. Activate the Crucible. They activate this, it voids a card out of their crypt. I guess playing Dark Card out isn't even that good because it'll kill our Crucible. Sure. Let's play this out and put a Stick of Valor on him. Call him done. tunneled card has to be a Reese, right? They must have extra like Reese's in their board for the control mirror. Hey, Marty. Hey, look, finally a shard, and it draws a card, thanks to Lanipaw's sight. He's a daydreamer, yeah. I do agree that this card's probably not reasonable with being double sapphire. How good is this game on a scale of 1 to 10? It's like a solid 8 or 9. Game's very reasonable. The gameplay's fantastic. The client has a few rough spots, but it's definitely better than Magic Online to set the bar so low you can step across it. And the gameplay is at a minimum as good as Magic. I think as far as current set design goes, the Hex team has been doing a lot better job than WotC has in terms of card development and balanced formats, and while still keeping things interesting. There's our Badger. So the Badger comes into play. He creates a random troop and a random action for us. We got a Crimson Clarity. Hey, look at that. And a Kin of the Ulk. So when this attacks, it gives something. All right, so not a very good random, but still fine. You know, freeze free. And our Badger is pumped up to a 4/3. The green numbers mean he has a positive modifier because we have a Monument of the Martyr in play. Alright, my opponent's playing a Silver Talent Adjudicator, which lets them draw cards and gain life because we have both more life than them and more cards in our hand. Mass Polydingler. Alright, so do I just like jam a dark card here? Try and hit my resource drop? I think I'm going to jam this one. So this will make my opponent sacrifice their Silver Talent Adjudicator during their ready step. And I'm going to put a stop during their... Nah. Just going to pass here. So this Crucible can void a thing from their crypt. Care to elaborate on why you find Lurin so much fun to play? It's just got a lot of different lines to it. It's got a lot of flexibility to it. It's got an interesting, proactive game plan on top of having a lot of interaction with your opponent and attacking from a lot of different angles. It basically felt like a chord deck in Legacy. You have a toolbox to play with, etc. Damn it. So my opponent found a... Because we tapped out here, they're going to get to activate their champion ability and draw some more cards because they put a Silver Talent Adjudicator into their crypt there. And I activated my Crucible. So their change course here looks at the top 3 cards of their deck and puts the other 2 into their crypt. And they found a troop to put into their crypt. Normally this is good at countering their champion ability, but they found a way to maneuver around it there. Possible I should have put out the second Crucible a couple turns ago. Just to kind of prevent something like this from happening. Shard is great. I think I'm just going to go ahead and jam another dark card here. Yeah, I'm just going to jam dark card out. Start activating these. Would not be surprised to see a Pride's Fall or another Martyr. This is likely this is a Reese, just like we predicted. Okay, so if our opponent doesn't have an interrupt here for our Mass Polydingler, the Dingler's going to be very reasonable. Otherwise, we're pretty far behind here. I wonder if they're not playing Dark Heart. We haven't seen a Dark Heart out of them yet, right? They might just be like playing like Diamond Sapphire, like mid range with Reese as a threat, as a primary threat instead of something out of the board. Psychic Ascension. Alrighty. Well, we're gonna go for the Dingler next turn and hope it's good enough. Crimson Clarity allows us to jump up to 8 resources here. And if we get verdicted here, we'll probably just go ahead and pack it in. Do we need more Cheerios? Yeah, we need more Cheerios. So they had a Mad Robomancer in the hand. They have a Dingler of their own. Okay. We're probably going to lose because of the Psychic Ascension, but, you know, we'll try. Yeah, right on time, verdict. So my opponent played a card that changes the champion that they are, and now every time my opponent plays any action, they generate a random troop with the same cost as that action, and their champion power gives them a random action. So it's self-enabling. When they play actions, they get troops, and their guy creates actions for them. He generated a polymorphic army, which will end the game on the spot. Yep, all right. GG. So a polymorphic army transforms all of my opponent's cards into random troops of cost X, and they created random 9-drops, which create very powerful things. So good games, opponent. Two triumphates. How unlucky indeed. All right, so it helps if I think I want a Psychic Ascension in here, actually, and I think they're right that the Eldritch Dreamers are greedy. Let's put Impulse Gems back in these Badger. They've been kind of awkward. They've been a little bit awkward. What are you doing? If you keep being a brat, I'm going to evict you. I'm going to put you back outside the toddler-free zone. So what are we doing here? So I think I want the extra Badger back in. Badger, it's a Badger. It's a very funny Badger. Badger, farmer Badger, duck. So for those that are new to Hex, what I'm doing here is this is a customizable card. During deck building and during sideboarding, you can put different abilities in this based on the different thresholds or colors that are in your deck. And we're putting the gem in here that whenever this attacks, we draw a card, but we have to play that card or discard it at end of turn. So what else do I want to do in here? I'm probably a little bit threat light doing this, so I probably wouldn't mind having another random threat in the main deck. A random Robomancer in the main's probably fine. This is also only single Sapphire, so yeah, that's probably okay. And I like the idea that someone said Valor plus Impulse in here, which I guess means I have to take Impulse out of one of these Badgers, so you can only have 4 of each gem. So I'm going to go ahead and take and leave random action creation in one of these. Okay, you can have 1 paper towel, and you're not having the rest of the roll. Let's put a second Mad Roby in the board here. Let's give it a go. Oh, and I'm going to, you know what? I just remembered I did not make this deck public on my decks page yet, so let's go ahead and do that. Hex has a full API, so the deck automatically updates on the decks page when I save this, so people that want to find it can. Would like to go first. This hand's a little medium, but having a burn and a Transmogrifade, like a bunch of removal, you generally don't want Psychic Ascension in your opening hand. So Psychic Ascension is the card that my previous opponent used to transform into a new champion. And it starts at 15 cost, but every time we play an action, if this is in our hand or our deck, its cost gets reduced by 1. So as we play out all these actions, this is going to get cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. And here's a Badger. Badger, it's a Badger. It's a very funny Badger. Badger, farmer Badger, duck. Do. So I'm actually going to go ahead and kill this with a burn. And the reason for this is it's only a 1-1, but it's going to deal several points of damage to us over the course of a few turns. And my opponent's deck generally plays assault cards, where every time one of their units attacks, the card will get cheaper in cost. So by killing off their units before they can attack, we reduce the ability for those cards to be potent. You know, I cut a shard from this deck, and that's probably wrong. I should probably go back up to 26 shards. I figured having Lanupod sites would help us hit our shard drops while still trimming one, but that was probably just greedy. Right, and again, just like we don't have any life gain in our deck, our thresholds don't, Sapphire and Ruby aren't good at gaining life, so we're just gonna go ahead and kill the guys so they can't trigger assault a whole bunch and other stuff. That's unfortunate. So this is a 2-2 with flying and speed and rage 1. So every time this attacks, it permanently gains 1 power. And at the end of turn, if you didn't play an action, you have to sacrifice this. But my opponent sent a burn to our face for that reason, so it'll go back to their hand at end step. So the great thing about Hex is that I don't have to like make up stuff to tell you. Just go to hexmeta.com and click overview at the top, and you'll get a breakdown. Mono Ruby Angus is still the single most popular deck, but it's not that much more popular than the Mono Wild Shoku deck. That's a close second. Crackling Wit, sure. So they're going to be able to redeploy their Gobbler here, and then also use this. That's really the best. I love, they give us so much data. We literally get all of the data, and as a data junkie, that's just so enjoyable to me. So we're going to go ahead and transmogrifate this Flickering Gerbler, which turns into a random 1-cost troop, so big bucks, no whammy. 1-cost card, so they got a Sigaji out of it, which is great. There's always going to be a deck in every format that people don't enjoy playing against, or is the most popular, and that's fine. Well-designed formats should have best decks. Alright, so I think I'm going to take this opportunity now that we finally found Shard 3 and play this Landing Pause site out. We're going to take at least one more hit from this and possibly expose ourselves to like a Mama Yeti this turn, but I think we just need to fire that off so we can propel ourselves into more resources here. Just getting attacked for 1 here again. This is great for us. Would love to find a couple Ruby Thresholds here so we can play these out. Hey, ask and you shall receive. And another one. Perfect. Perfect, perfect. Just going to go ahead and pass the turn back here. Probably Burning Tendrils this before he attacks. Alright. Burning Tendrils this Stork. You see our Psychic Ascension continues ticking downward here. We're still at a pretty high life total. I don't usually get too worried in these matchups until we get down into the single digits. So still being at 17 here is pretty huge. Why isn't anyone playing Ragefire anymore? So this deck that we're playing actually might be an okay choice for Ragefire. It's just the problem with Ragefire is that you generally need to be playing a deck that'll allow you to see, I don't know, 3 copies of it before you start seeing a very good return on it. So, like, the first 2 Ragefires aren't that good of a rate, basically, is what it comes down to. So, my opponent's going to be able to make another Bambly bot here, and I think we're just supposed to take the hit from 1 for this rather than kill it with Fireball, because I would prefer to hold this Fireball. Our opponent's shown they have Flickering Gobblers in their deck, and this is our only piece of quick interaction left in our hand, so I'd like to save away so we don't get run over by a Flickering Gobbler. We immediately draw a burn. Oh, one of these has a card draw on it, right? Yeah, that one does. So let's try and hit a shard drop here. And we did. Hit a resource. Great. Let's go ahead and play this out. You're a brat. You know that? Alright, so what does this do? This creates a random action. Sweet. So we'll play this out, and again, holding up burns and fireballs here. We got a Brood Bounty. Sure. So you have to look at it though, Matt. When you see the second, there's the Lasgard's Vengeance, the card with Assault. So he goes ahead and kills my guy and deals me 4. And now we're starting to get kind of to a scary point here. So hopefully we can get the Psychic Ascension Online and start killing them soon. We have 8 points of damage in our hands. So we have a little bit of reach. They're like at a virtual 12, kind of. Ooh, Darkheart is wonderful. Play that out, draw a card. Missed on another resource again, but we did hit another piece of burn. Yeah, Yo Cousin has it exactly. So like the first 2 Rage Fires, you basically spent 4 resources to deal 6 damage, which is kind of a fairly mediocre rate. And then after that, you need to. All right, so they're getting real aggressive here. So we to actually be able to like kill them next turn, right? I'm just gonna go ahead and burn this. And then again, Darkheart hits like a truck. If their last card isn't a Transmogrifade, they're almost dead here. Puts my opponent to 12. We'll probably board Psychic Ascension out in this matchup just because, like, we don't need this to grind, basically. We'll be able to kill them between burn spells and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and Crackling Bolt upstairs. And then Brood Bounty here. Just continue ticking this down. I'm going to go ahead and hold both of these for now. I'm going to go ahead and Oracle Song, I think, here. Just hold Fireball up this turn. And perhaps my sequencing on this was a little sloppy. Should maybe lead on this. You hold Casual 2 more Dark Hearts. Sure. All right. Up a game, heading to the reserves. Definitely want extra Crimson Bolts. My opponent was intimidated and left the match. All right. I'll take it. What are we doing here? I said I wanted to add a shard, right? I'm going to cut this Robomancer to the board. Nah, 1 Robomancer is probably fine. Yeah, I'm just going to add a shard back in here. 26 shards, probably fine. Good morning, afternoon, and good night to everyone wherever you're at in the world. Thanks for choosing to spend part of your Tuesday here with us while we battle some Hex TCG. We play Hex every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday here on this channel, so I appreciate you stopping by. Stop bullying people on the ladder. Do I have a 9 to 5? I do not have a 9 to 5. My primary job is taking care of my 2 children. I have a son who's almost 3 and another one that's 18 months old. This is my stream time slot here in the afternoon starts when my youngest takes his nap, and then he wakes up probably about halfway through. He sleeps for an hour and a half to 2 hours, and I stream for an hour and let them play together and watch TV for that hour. And then I do some writing content for MTG Card Market. I write for the main Hex TCG website, and then, playing a bunch of Magic doesn't pay a whole ton, which is another part of the reason why I'm not going to be doing it a whole bunch next year, because when it stops being fun, it no longer becomes worth doing. So, do what you enjoy unless they're paying you a lot of money. Because then you can just, be miserable for a couple years and then make a lot of money and then bank and then do nothing for a while. I didn't miss any messages there. There are tutors. Yeah, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Hex doesn't ever print really powerful tutors, because those are cheating on resources, and tutors are two of the best ways to break the fundamentals of your game. And I'm hoping that they're going to learn from Magic's mistakes, like they seem they have in a lot of respects, and not do cards like that. I am currently 19th on the ladder, so we're looking pretty solid for coasting into the top 64 for the next Hex CCS, their next 5K cash tournament. That's costs actual 0 to enter, which is sweet. That's the other thing. Like, I played the CCS, the first CCS that I top 8'd like from my basement, and like, you know, I top 4'd and I got paid, and I was just like, I didn't have to buy a $200 plane ticket for this. I didn't have to drive, 6 hours or 12 hours across the country. It's just so much more convenient. And if the game plays just as reasonable or better than Magic, and I don't have to travel a whole bunch to play, like, it's just a net positive to just play a bunch of Hex and other games like this rather than travel a bunch for Magic. So I'm going to be playing less Magic. Yeah, my 2017 is not going to involve a lot of Magic. I am still going to play some events. I'm planning to play a couple of team events. There's the Team Open in Baltimore in February. Joe Lissette asked me if I wanted to be his modern player for that, so I'm going to do that with him. And then we'll find a third for standard. And then I'm playing the Team Unified Modern Grand Prix in San Antonio, I believe it is, in March, April. And I've got Ali Andrazi and... oh, I forgot to put the Impulse Gem in this fourth Badger. Whoops. Ali Andrazi and Zach Elsick are going to be my partners for the Team Unified Modern Grand Prix. And then I plan to play the Invitationals next year. Like, I'm qualified for the first Invitational, and I can probably, qualify for the second one playing an IQ or 1 or 2 Opens. I might play a Modern Open or 2 if they fix the format or decide that they care about it, but... I'm planning to play, maybe, like, I played, 30 open weekends this year between regionals and stuff like that. So next year is probably going to be maybe 6 to 10, somewhere in that range. So War Party Guide, huh? So now I have to make a decision. Do I want to play this Lanupot site out, or do I want to burn to the ground this War Party Guide? I think I want to be resource efficient and get some velocity moving here. This gives them the potential to draw a card on their own when it attacks, but I think I'd rather just, like, run that risk and take a hit here. So this is the animation towards your deck is a prophecy. Whenever this or another Coyote enters play under your control, the next troop in your deck gets +1/+1. Okay, yep. And this prophesied to make something cheaper. So you see this has -1 cost because it was prophesied by this. And my opponent drew a card. So they just drew a card that has -2 cost and has +2/+2. So wouldn't be surprised to see if they play it out here for free. Yep, Stargazer is a -1 cost 3/3 here. Who's my third with Lissette? We don't have a firm third yet. I'm going to go ahead and play this out. And then I could play the Badger, or I could Fireball this. I think I want to just Fireball this. Technofee with the 3-month resub. Welcome back. Thank you for the continued support. I do appreciate it. We're taking a pretty big hit here. Hopefully we can get this dark card out next turn. Would like to draw a shard. We even went back up to 26 shards, Kismet. Stop punishing us. Another War Party Guide. Yep, come on. Come on. Daddy needs a shard. Yeah, it's not even a slow shard to punish us. Sweet. Yeah, I think I could play Badger and hold Fireball, but I think I'm just supposed to play the dark card out here. It draws us a card. Oh, yeah. And now next turn, we can burn to the ground something for 1, Fireball something, and Burning Tendrils. So they have to sacrifice one of their 1/2s here. And then even if they kill this, we're only taking 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 damage. And then we can kill 3 things next turn. So sitting in a pretty reasonable spot. They hit their... Looks like they're playing a Tri-Shard deck because Coyotes allow them access to a Tri-Shard. So... Starcaller Ancient. Well, that's a must kill. So this card says, when you draw a Prophesized card, create a copy of it. Oh, and then this. Geez, I hope the top card of their deck isn't a troop. If the top card of their deck is the Prophecy troop that they just got, they're going to get 2 copies of it. Please don't. Please don't. Mercy. Although I guess he has to eat this into here, so I get to kill their guy for free. How change is notable? Is it noticeable? It's definitely noticeable, and it's just fantastic is the only way to put it. It's such a great positive improvement. I can't even really put into words how good of a change it is. Like, it's an all upside change that just like improves the quality of the game for the players. And it's a type of change that, like, they didn't even have to tell us that the change was happening, but they did, and it's great. They didn't have to give us that information, and it's great that they're so open about it. They even gave us the full algorithm for it. So this is prophesizing things every time they play Coyotls, but this can give them some selection. That's a tough call. I think I'm supposed to fireball this one. Yeah, I'm going to fireball that one. And then Dark Art's going to make them sack another thing on their turn. So I think we've taken over this game at this point, hopefully. Evening Scoobot. I'm actually working on a short article talking about the changes. Their deck is really interesting. Oh, geez. They can... Huh. I probably should have held that fireball. They can champ power the Starcaller Ancient back to their hand next turn. That's insane. I guess it's a good thing I get to draw a bunch of cards here. I get draw step for my turn, and then I get 2 draws off my champion power since I have a shard here. Hey, look at that. Never punished. So because I hit this, I think I'm actually just going to get my Badger into play here. And just, like, get more threats out. Got a Lapidary. Do I want to hit with this? Yeah, I think I just want to end the game. Yeah, I'm just going to crack him with this Dark Heart. What's the money investment like for Hex? The best deck and the most popular deck in the format right now is a Mono Ruby aggressive deck that's right around $100 to build. And then the second best deck is a wild mid-range deck that's about $150. And then there's variety smattering of tier 2 decks that you can get for, like, starting at about $40. And the nice thing about Hex is that it's a full TCG. Scoobot with the $8 donation for the sake of entertainment. Cheers. Thank you. I appreciate you partaking in the entertainment, and I really appreciate your contribution. Thank you. Anywho, there's a few budget decks that are reasonable. You can check it out. Check out here. I keep a list of some of them. And actually, the last deck there is actually just one of the best decks in the current format. So that's unfortunate. So they get priority here, and they played a Shard. So if the top card, please be a Shard. It was not a Shard, so it was a Prophesied thing, so they got to double it up there from their Starcaller Ancient. I got into Cosmic this season, which is the highest rank that you can play at in Hex, their ladder system, with a deck that costs about $25 to build. The Yodel Burn deck. Actually, is the Yodel Burn deck on my budget deck list there? It might not be. Oh no, it is. Yeah, Yodel Mongok build. Okay, it's closer to 40, I guess. Still, that's that first deck there is when I actually played into Cosmic this season. I like it a lot. See if he offers this trade here. That doesn't seem like a particularly good trade for them. Yeah. I'm going to burn this Stinkhorn and then crack with these two, I think. Oh, you know what? I should have attacked with the Badger first, because the Badger draws a burn. We're going to have to play that before the end of turn anyways. Hey, Neurogenus. Continue to combat. Attack with these two nerds. And again, the Rift Badger draws a card when it attacks. And see, we have to discard this at end of turn if it's still in our hand. So we'll just go ahead and play that before we have to discard it. And then probably just go Badger Lapidary, honestly. We'll see if they want to trade here or not. I love how this card looks. Just the giant rift in the background. Repel. Alright, so they destroyed my 4-2, but it comes back. Yep. And, like, really, this card draw mechanic, it's very similar to the, like, exile the top card of your deck in Magic. You can play this card until end of turn, but you just can't do this in... You basically can't have how this draw works in Magic because it, This has... We created a random Robomancer with Valor and Impulse on it. That's so great. God, that's great. Fill the cup. Raining Heads. Another Starcaller Ancient. Wow, that's a big Starcaller Ancient. Well then. Huh. Those are rather large. Thankfully, this this Lapidary generated a Cloud Walk, so we're going to Cloud Walk him over and take one of these 6/6s. So Mad Robomancer says that when he comes into play, he creates a Valor, and that whenever we play an action, we get to create a copy of Mad Robomancer and put him into our hand. Let's go ahead and Cloud Walk the Lapidary here. We drew a Fireball. Huh. I guess I just attack with these two, and if he takes it, he's just dead, right? Yeah, it takes 6, and then this is 3. Our opponent showed us they have some interaction here. I think I like taking the conservative line. Yeah, like here's a Transmog. So Lapidary down, literally to the ground into a 2/2. Gain some life off of his Stargazer activation. Yeah, I think I'm just going to pass the turn here. We'll probably end step Fireball them. And then on our turn, we can Crackling Bolt plus push some damage. We have a Crackling Tide here to return a troop to its inner hand, so we can push through. That's scary. So this prophesizes the next action, resource, and troop in their deck. The action gives extra charges. The troop is +2/+2, and the action is -2 cost. Little bit weirded out by the cup filled with heads. You're not wrong, coach. It's like a dish Hannibal would cook. Yep. Alright, so I think we have lethal here. We get to send Fireball at end step for 3. And then we get to Crackling Bolt in our turn for 3. And then they can gain 2 off of this. But this is going to get them. Yeah, you're just going to double up the Badgers here. I think this is fine. Trade these. Burn, baby, burn. Disco Inferno. Boo, doo, doo, doo. So I guess if their last card's another Transmogrifade, they could trip this on the ground and gain 2 life to not die this turn. Gaining some life, sure. Alright, and now they're just dead because we found a burn as well here. This is a really sweet use of this champion, though. And this is only game 1, so we'll see if they've got how their deck lines up the rest of it. We definitely want to drag our curve down a little bit here, play some more quick interaction stuff. This Crucible might not be the worst. Shuts their champion ability off. I don't think we want Psychic Ascension to go over the top. This is probably one too many Badgers. Make sure these all have the Impulse Gem in them. I guess we're a little bit light on win conditions if I cut a Badger. Yeah, I guess I'm going to leave the Psychic Ascension and cut 2 Badgers, actually. Need one more cut here. Probably, if I'm cutting some of the top end, can I cut a Shard? That's probably greedy, right? Greed is good. I'm going to try and burn to the ground. Let's do this. It's a good way to get cards. I'm told grinding the Frost Arena is the most optimal way to just grind into the free stuff. I'm not actually the best person, so I'm sure there's someone in chat that can be helpful with that, but I ended up just opening my wallet and buying some cards when I got into Hex. I just bought a constructed deck that looked interesting to me and then started playing constructed events. There's free-to-play constructed events every weekend on Saturday and Sunday. The Hex 5-shard series that pay out 100 or 10,000 platinum to first place, I believe it is. So, which is $100 worth of in-game currency. So, I got in that way. Yeah, and honestly, the new account leveling system is excellent in terms of like just playing whatever you want to play and getting free stuff to do things just for playing the game. Because basically with account leveling, there's like play games and you'll earn stuff. So honestly, probably the best piece of advice I can give is just like max your daily XP every day. At least play through the bonus XP experience bar that you get. I'm going to go ahead and Transmogrifade this guy. It's a little annoying, and I have another Transmogrifade here. Hopefully this takes damage off the table. It doesn't. Still leaves him with a 2-1. That's actually going to start putting eggs in my deck now. Whoops. So I'm going to Transmogrifade this because it's going to turn it into a 0-drop. Which is actually a forge to give my opponent more resources, but I think that's worthwhile. It takes power and toughness off the table and gives me an opening to play this Lanupause slide out here. Yeah, I was much less afraid to put money into Hex than to put money into something like Eternal or Hearthstone because, I knew I could sell back out of Hex if I decided I stopped enjoying it or didn't like what was going on with the game. Which is a nice safety net to have. Oh, that's unfortunate. Man, I'm glad we didn't board out a Shard. If we boarded out a Shard, I could be like, yeah, look at Greedy Hoagland, boarded out a Shard. Still at 26. I'm just going to kill this dork because I want to preserve our life total and it's putting spider eggs in our deck. What is in my opponent's hand? Do they just have like a bunch of counter magic? They have 5 resources here. There's a Starcaller Ancient. Okay. Instant regret having spent my... Although this is a 3. This got prophesized. Okay. Kind of want to fireball this. They must have like Transmogre Fates and Pride's Falls, right? Would like to run off some shards here. Ruby shards so I can fireball this ideally. Hey, there's the Ruby Shard we asked for. Bishop Elijah, for 4 charges, returns a troop with cost 2 or less from their crypt to their hand. So I think I'm going to take the hit for 3 here, and then ends up fireball this, and then on my turn we'll Dark Heart, and then we can Dark Heart again the following turn. Okay, Crackling Bolt's a good pickup because it means we're going to be able to kill that, kill this again once he returns it to their hand. Dark Heart trigger, sack something. Wow, no quick speed removal in their hand for the Dark Heart, which is kind of surprising. It means this plus this is probably just going to run away with the game here. I guess the question now becomes, do I want to Crackling Bolt and kill this, or play another Dark Heart out? I think I'm going to attack first and see what they do, because if I attack and they chump, then playing the second Dark Heart out will make them sacrifice both their remaining things, which is worthwhile. So let's start by shipping for 4 here. See what they do. If they just take 8, I'm going to Crackling Bolt to their 3/3. Hopefully they chump here, though. I'm just taking it. Okay. So, and I guess playing the Crackling Bolt out plus having drawn this shard means I'm going to get to my champ power here, which is nice. So I can Oracle Song this turn as well. Draw a couple cards, a small removal, and a Transmogre Fade. Ready step trigger this. They lose their 1/2. So end step, I'm going to transmog this one. So that way they can't double up any of their prophesied things. The opponent's deck is definitely interesting. The problem with what my opponent's deck is doing in general is that it's playing a lot of cards that are fairly weak individually speaking. So you'll often end up with draws like this where I'm able to consistently answer their Starcaller Ancient even with the redundancy their champion power offers. They're just not going to really be able to leverage all of their individually weak cards and doing anything respectable. Alright, so that block there means these are going to trigger on their ready step and kill both of these, and then these pieces of removal in our hand should just put the game away. Like, they probably can't even, like, stack their deck at this point to win the game. Yeah. So this is just a 5/5 that we're going to burn plus Fireball plus Crackling Bolt and then attack them for 16. Questions, new player, spin a rare chest and turned into a Primal Hero Fall chest with paid spin. It's hopefully someone else. I don't do anything with chests. Although I have some from these leveling things, so maybe I should figure out what I want to do with them. Check, check, check it. See. Hope everyone's having a good morning, afternoon, or night, wherever you're at in the world. Thanks for hanging out here while we play some Hex TCG. Over 100 people hanging out here today. Welcome. There's a lot of different things you could be doing, different people you could be watching. So thanks for choosing to spend part of your Tuesday here with us. We are battling with a Ruby Sapphire control deck this afternoon. You can find links to the deck list below the stream or on the information button if you are on mobile. If you're enjoying the Hex content, make sure you use the follow or subscribe buttons below to show that support. We stream Hex every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday afternoon here on this channel. We also stream some other digital card games on this channel as time permits. Every Wednesday, I'm doing Eternal card game now. That's a new one that just went into open beta. And then I think we're also going to check out Pokemon TCG here at some point soon. Hey, Ranger, we are running hot, hot, hot as always. I am a professional lucker of sorts. Hello, Jacob Jeffrey. Ozawas and Dark Hearts. What are you playing, Armies? You just finished building your key list and saw that you were playing Angel Cord 2 days ago. To return those cards to my LGS, should I return and get Angel Cord instead? The actual answer is that it depends. I'm going to have an article out, but it's going to be probably next week. I'm writing about Allurin this week to get it out before the Legacy Grand Prix. I think both decks are fine in general. You know, come sit on Dad's lap? Oh, all right. Huh, this hand's a little medium. Oh, I never went and fixed that Badger, did I? This hand's really slow. I want to replace, try again. Yeah, this hand's much better. There's a Crackling Bolt on 2 into a line of post light on 3. Yeah, it's funny, people always talk about those, but what you don't remember are the games where, like, you had all 4 Midnight Paladins and, like, your top 18 cards. It's just like that, only if you took your deck and flipped it upside down. Hi. Hi, toddler. Oh, look at that. Bricks McRabbit. Rabbit McBrickerson here. Rabbits McBrickerson here. Reporting for duty. I think I'm holding this Crackling Bolt to kill something later down the line. I don't think I want to just get aggressive and send it upstairs. Although, there might be some merit to doing it. Because, like, my next 3 turns are like this, right? Yeah, I'm gonna kill it. I'm just gonna send this upstairs. Hey, Zach. Do we need more Cheerios? Is that what we want? Always need more Cheerios in our life? Of course we do. They're chocolate Cheerios. They're the best. Chocolate Cheerios, confirmed better than regular Cheerios, in case you're wondering. Hope you're doing well, Zach. Oh, that reminds me. We need to finish Magic Battlegrounds at some point, too. If we run Saccharine or maybe killing that, that's possible. I haven't beaten that game yet. No, I haven't played since the last time I streamed. I said I was going to stream it, and then, I got caught up doing all the Players' Championship testing, so... Did you like that, Roger? I didn't have anything nice to say, and he was obviously a troll, so I just, linked him a Google search of pictures of bridges. Yep, and there's the Saccharine, so maybe should have done that. I don't know, that's a close call. Let's just find a Transmogrifade. Yeah, it's called Magic Battlegrounds. You can check out my YouTube channel. There's some archives of it. You can also look it up on Wikipedia. It is the best Magic the Gathering digital game ever produced. I am 2/3 of the way through, or 2/5, 3/5 of the way through the campaign story mode. It's truly fantastic. And a Might. Wow, they're playing the Might Singer build. Okay, so now I really wish I would have saved the Crackling Bolt. This looks like the old Kaigru Crusader decks, like the very beginning of the season. Yep. Oh, geez, they just drew 2 cards off of this. Ugh. Oh, and a Hero Fall to kill my Badgers? No! Transmogrifade. We need, Transmogrifade into a Crackling Bolt for this. Alright, that's a redraw. Scale of 1 to dead, looking pretty dead here. Played it on the original Xbox. Yeah, I bought it way back in the day on the PC. Scale of 1 to dead. We are looking pretty dead here. And I'd be a little bit less dead if we would have Crackling Bolted their Cottontail Explorer, but probably still not winning this game. Oh, yeah. Ah, yeah, stick it in me. We so dead. Put a fork in, I'm done. Transmog. Alright, another short is not going to do it. I'll go ahead and pack it in here. What are we doing? Extra Transmog for sure. Want the Mass Poly Dingler, want the Chaos Gate. Probably want to cut a couple Badgers. Their stats will line up well. Maybe trim a Crackling Bolt. This is probably fine. Yeah, let's do it. Oh, they were both right, so maybe I did fix it? I'll double check after this match. Sounds a little reactive, but I mean, we're a control deck. Most of our hands are reactive. I'm going to lead on Ruby Shard here, just in case my opponent has Howling Brave on one like they often do, so we can burn it. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe there's a slim chance they've updated their deck. Gemborn Prowler's not in a good position in general in the format, so maybe they've cut them. I don't know. We've got a Psychic Extension of the deck, too, so... Bliss out for our second Ruby threshold, so these Burning Tendrils can be online. If our opponent plays a Cottontail Explorer or a Sensei on 2, we're definitely going to burn it to try and prevent the Saccharine from happening again. Really? You're very loud. Everyone needs to hear Jacob. Might Singer, even all the better to burn you with, my dear. Do you need help? No, you don't need help. You got it? You just yelling to yell? Hey, that was a fantastic pickup here. We want to draw shards and non-shards, so landing upon site's a great way to hopefully do that. Oh, that's a little rough. So if I had resources available here, I'd kill this in response so they can't sack it, but fortunately we do not. Hopefully we hit a non-slow shard this turn so we can go Burning Tendrils plus burn. If we don't hit a non-slow shard, we're going to have to Crackling Bolt plus burn. Yep. Does not feel good, but we're going to 2-for-1 this. Getting one of our landing plot site prophecies on an 8-drop feels real bad, but is what it is. Hopefully we hit a shard next turn. That'll propel us forward a little bit. I'll get that. The Rabbit drew 2 cards. He got his giant Runear Hierophant back. Another Cottontail Explorer. Yep. So Fireball's actually not... it is kind of a bad draw, isn't it? Because their Runear's going to be at 8-8. Oh, jeez. Can we draw a Transmogrifade? If we're not going to draw shards, can we at least draw one of our 4 Transmogrifades? I feel like we're going to die in a blaze of bunnies. Maybe we get really lucky and he doesn't sacrifice one of these Cottontails to the Runear. And then we can draw Ruby Shard and Burning Tendrils plus Fireball the Runear. Not likely. Yep. Hello, 8-8 Runear, my old friend. Would like to Transmogrifade you again. Blaze of Buddies, yep. Yep, alright, well, we got one more draw step to find a Transmogrifade. Or a shard that draws a card off the landing post site to do a Transmogrifade. Let's just kill that now. Okay, shard, Transmogrifade, or third Fireball? Burn. You giant tease, Burn. Why aren't you a Fireball? If you were a Fireball, we could kill this Runear Hierophant, or even a Crackling Bolt. Ugh. We had a lot of good draws there. 4 Transmogrifade, 4 Crackling Bolt, 2 Fireball, 10 live ones. I guess we had 1 Crackling Bolt out there, so 9 live ones. I think I'm Burning Tendrils-ing this. If I don't Tendrils this, I could draw any non-slow shard to Tendrils Fireball this, so I guess we just take the hit. Alright, it's a non-slow shard. And now I'm going to Tendrils, Fireball, Fireball this right now, because if my opponent draws a Monsag Lily Pad, we won't be able to respond to it and kill this rabbit. It will just turn into a 10-10. Possible I should have burned this to preserve my life total a little bit since I'm going so low here. Yeah, I probably should have burned this before I took it from it last turn. Yep. And now something that's worth noting here is that if I would have burned this the turn I said I should have, I would not be dead on board right now. I would be at 4 life, and this would be a 3/4 in the air, so we could take a hit from it. Let's see. Transmography, alright. No! No! The buffalo is too strong. Buffalo too strong. Too strong, Buffalo. 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 The mighty buffalo has felled us. Is far too strong. Dee, 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 dee. Hope everyone is doing swell on this Tuesday. That is a buffalo emote. Alright, found one of them wild decks I've heard so much about. Old Grandfather Elk for 4 charges while you have triple wild threshold. You give a troop 3/3 and crush until end of turn. He means to give him the biz witch. That's pretty reasonable. Sign me up. So which resource we play first here is actually kind of interesting since we have the Fireball in our hand. By playing the Sapphire Shard out first, I've committed to not playing this Fireball until the 4th turn of the game, basically. But because he led on this Howling Brave, I wanted to be able to Transmogrify to turn 2 Ruiner Hierophant here. I'm definitely happy to Transmogrify a Might Singer of the Ages. Perhaps I should wait until I draw cards. If I draw like Crackling Bolt or Burn, I would prefer to burn that, I think. I think I'm just going to pass the turn here because I would like to burn a Ruiner Hierophant or another Might Singer if they have it, rather than just like trying to stunt the resources a little bit. If they don't commit anything else to the table here, I'm going to be more than happy to burn the Brave at end step, but I think, again, I'd like to have this to kill a Ruiner Hierophant if possible. Burning Tendrils. Burn to the ground. Alright, I'm going to burn it to the ground. So if my opponent has a, if they have a Dreamweaver Ancient next turn, they can hit us with the Dreamweaver Ancient with their champion power. Abzan Charm is for your mid-range matchups. Decks like Jund and Abzan, Grixis Control. It's very good against Grixis Delver. all the modes great there. Let's go ahead and just pass the turn here. One more shard, and we can start deploying these Dark Hearts, which this deck likely can't beat game 1. Post-board, they probably have some ways to take an artifact off the table, but game 1, they're just going to get railed by it. Okay, Sight of the Sun. This exhausts to replenish all your resources and give you life for each one replenished that way. I'm going to be pretty happy just Burning Tendrils this out here. Get it out of here. Non-slow shard. God bless. We're going to take their Mesmeric Chant off the table with my Dark Heart trigger. And then proceed to beat them into the ground for 8 points of damage a turn. Get bodied. Heart of the Wrathwood. Okay. Well, he's going to have some seed pods here, but he's going to lose 2 of them a turn. Attack you for 8. This is one card that could maybe get them back in this game because it gives them enough things to sacrifice. So, kind of an interesting turn here. I could play another Dark Card out just to, like, end the game faster. But when you're in a position like this, the question you always want to ask yourself is, how do I lose this game? And the answer to the question, how do I lose this particular game 1 here, is my opponent is able to kill my Dark Heart. And if I play another Dark Heart out, my opponent will be able to Crocosaur and kill both the Dark Hearts. So I think I'd much rather just keep pressuring them with this one, rather than commit a second one to the table and possibly get blown out by a Croc. Remember, Crocosaur has to fight exactly 2 troops. It can't fight just a single Dark Heart hanging out in play. The actual muck the nuck. What the muck? Main deck Scorn of Oberon. God, I hope you draw that every time you play against Angus. That's unreal. Yep, that's a card. Lose another seed pod, I guess. These turn into random plants at 3. Yeah. Carnosaur, sure. Maybe he's got 2 cards. He's going to go fight. So we'll let the first one resolve. And the second one, when it comes into play, we'll fireball it in response to the trigger. So kill that before it fights. Needs a 3rd card now. So can't fight because it's dead. Seriously? Main deck Scorn into triple Carnosaur? Main deck Scorn is valid. Use your words. Main deck Scorn is valid because... Was there a single main deck eulogy in... There wasn't a single but it's great against pretty much kills mono wild random dreadling constants and reverts transmog guys, kills Dark Heart. I disagree. Look at the ladder data and see how much of the format is Angus, and then tell me that with a straight face. Because of Shoku? No, the Shoku decks, look at the deck lists that were successful in the top 8, and like look at what Varanus has been playing. The Shoku decks are not playing eulogies in the main. They're not. Freak of Nature. Okay, so we got some kind of medium plants. So that's good for us. Oh, wait, this is what? Spirit Dance. Troops in your deck. Okay, sure. Yeah, that is correct. Killing a Dread Harvest is not worth a card. So we're taking 11 here, so hopefully we get some reasonable hits. I would definitely play 4 Voice if you're expecting a lot of control decks. Sure, Elwins. I'm not saying, when I say they're not typically playing it, what I mean is they're not typically playing it. It doesn't mean no one's playing it. It means that the people that are correctly reading the format and adjusting accordingly aren't playing it. The people that are doing well aren't playing it. What cards does it hit in Shoku? What cards? Choose your words. It like stalls a Might Singer or a Runier, but it doesn't actually fix the problem. You're still gonna die to those cards, and killing a Dread Harvest isn't worth an entire card. So now I have to decide: do I want to sight here and be resource efficient and take extra points damage? I think I do. I think getting this velocity going is fine. I mean, obviously do whatever you want. Like, the deck we're playing right now isn't particularly good, most likely. But we're doing it anyways, because YOLO, enjoy the game, have fun. I'm just saying, that's not something I expect to play around, because in the context of the current format, it's not particularly good. Transmogrifade's a great draw. Let's start on... I guess let's start on this. See what we draw. Transmog this? Yeah, I think so. Into a Midnight Shepherd that they'll never be able to use. Play this Badger. I can't actually respond to this, right? When this... Yeah, so I'm just going to go ahead and burn this now. So I can't get larger. Gem Snatchers, Valor. Okay, and this has Impulse on it, right? Yep. So, okay, maybe we get out of this. Remember, all their troops are cheaper and bigger, so... we can empower Burning Tendrils to kill that. Can also burn it to the ground. So I'm going to make sure I have my stop set here at the right point. Yep. So I'm going to go ahead and attack with this Badger just in case the Badger draws us the Burning Tendrils. Okay, it drew us a shard. So we're going to go ahead and empower this and kill the Runier before blocks here. We'll play this post-combat and play this Gem Snatchers out. Hey, Zimmers. Play out my Gem Snatchers. There's a reason not to run Abrupt Decay. Yeah, I didn't expect Abrupt Decay to be particularly great against a lot of the decks I expected to play. Doesn't fix a lot of problems that you have. So cards like Dismember and Maelstrom Pulse and things like that were more appropriate. Alright, so I'm going to Valor this. Yeah, I'm going to run the attack first again and then possibly kill this before blocks. Well, I guess if he blocks with it, I'm okay. Yeah, that's fine. You can block. And again, you always want to wait to play your shard out in case you impulse into one like we did there. So let's play this. Do I want to kill this with fire? Yeah, I think I do. I think I want to just keep his guys off the table. Let's keep the table clear. We've got an Impulse Badger going, and we're gonna got him on a fairly quick clock. They're actually just dead next turn, right? Yeah, this is 5, 6, 7, 8, and then burn to the ground kills them. Pack Hunters. Choose a troop of your deck. Okay, so my opponent is dead here because they played another card that doesn't affect the board. That's why cards like Pack Hunters like this, they come at a real cost. You know, it's just like not impacting the board is a good way to get dead. And like, and we're a control deck of all things, so like, you know, we're not even being aggressive towards our opponent. We're able to race them out of this game. You want the headset? You gamer toddler? Can I show the internet gamer toddler? Hey, look, it's gamer toddler. You just wear the headset like your dad? Nope. Nope. Headset off. Alright, do another research, but that doesn't matter because we're going to burn them to the ground. Okay, play it out. And in a blaze of glory, our opponent will die. Neo's favorite card, right? Alright, so what are we doing here? Extra Transmog seems great. Dingler might be okay. I could see Chaos Gate being okay. And again, not a whole lot to do here. It's maybe, are these badgers? Let's check these badgers. Are these badgers? It's one of these badgers is wrong. All right, so one of these badgers doesn't have impulse on it. I need to fix that after this game. I think Burn to the Ground's actually pretty medium. So I think I'm gonna trim 2 burns and a badger. You want to stand up? Are you investigating my headset? Does it meet your approval? Did it get the Jake stamp of approval? Do these badgers come with mushrooms, right? Oh, hug. Thank you. Morning, Miss Spade. Morning, Tom. Riposta scored at Roberta Seed Pod. Yeah, that sounds super reasonable. Got lots of cheap interaction here to kind of follow them up the curve as they go. Got a Rift Warp Badger to, you know, do badgery things. Ow! Oh, that's... Yep. Burn the brave. It's good. It's a good mantra to live by. Oh no, lag! The old kill the brave concede. Must have kept like 1 shard brave chloro. Alright, let's go fix the badger now while I'm thinking about it. You wanna see that? Is that what you want? You need to show your dad something? Let him fix his badger real quick and then he'll come see what you got. All the badgers, let me just double check my badgers. Let me double check the badgers. Okay, badgers are good to go. Alright, I'm coming. Show me what you need. Show me what you need. Sorry about that. It was an emergency. We needed fruit snacks. Equinox, I'll be writing about that for mtgcardmarket.com. That'll probably go up next week. If you want early previews to my articles, all of my Twitch subscribers get early access to all of my Hex and Magic content. The written content you usually see, I don't know, 4 or 5 days up to a week before it actually goes published live. You get a sneak peek. You get to see how bad my grammar is before it goes past an editor. This week, I have an article about the Alurin deck, the Legacy deck that I played at the Players' Championship that'll go up on Friday. And then Modern will probably be next week. I really don't like Animus. So the problem with Animus is that it falls into the this card isn't individually powerful on its own trap, whereas a card like Dark Heart of Null Zone and even like the Badger that we're playing in this deck is pretty reasonably powerful all on its own. Like there must answer threats that are going to win the game otherwise. Ooh, Winter Moon. Someone else dancing to the beat of their own drum. Have ourselves a brew off here. And again, this hand looks just like the Mono Ruby deck, which is fine. You know, all these cards reasonable. Spoilers, his grammar isn't great. You're not incorrect, Marty. I'd like to keep this hand. These Crackling Bolts probably heading towards the dome here. Opponent's playing Winter Moon, which isn't a super common champion anymore. So for 2 charges, they take 2 cards from their crypt and put them back into their deck. Those cards gain when you play this, draw a card. So tick tick boom, just gonna take this Crackling Bolt and send it to Le Dome. So they're down to 18, and we've got 8 points in our hand. Opponent kept 1 shard on the draw with no cantrip. All right, to each their own. Play this out, and I'm just gonna send another Crackling Bolt upstairs, I think, here. Let's just try and get them dead. It's not very close to a Badger, Coach, because the Badger is guaranteed card advantage. Like, even when this eats it right away and dies, it's generated another attacker. Animus just trades 1 for 1 a lot of the time. Which, if you're planning on a powerful card, I want something that can do better than trade 1 for 1. Alright, see, look, turned it into a 3-2 speed. And made a Bladesman. Alright, so probably want Verdicts and Riposte. Probably, They have some. We saw Karns. I'm gonna cut the Crackling Bolts, I guess. This can empower to kill things like, what's it called? Windsinger and Crocosaurs and stuff like that. I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna cut the Crackling Bolts and bring in Verdicts and Ripostes here. Crucibles, probably fine. Makes their champ power marginally worse. Maybe trim these Burn to the Grounds. That seems a-okay. Does Robomancer come in here? Maybe? I guess it's a threat that's hard to remove. I'll buy that for $1. Put Valor and Impulse on it and cut one of these. Oh, nope, missed it. Sorry. If we get a game 3, let's put the Robomancer in. I think that's fine. Yeah, seems fine. We're on the draw. We got 26 shards in our deck, so hopefully hit our 3rd by 3 here. Get to play Crucible on 1 to make their champion power much, much worse. It's a lot of Burning Tendrils. Possible one of these should have boarded out. That could be the last Robomancer slot. Okay, hit our 3rd resource, which is great. Peek or change course 7 step? Nope. That's perfect. So that Lanupause Sight means that their shields are down for this turn, so we can Lanupause Sight of our own. We're negating their champion power here. We hit our 4th shard for the Badger. Go ahead and activate this here. Need more Cheerios? Okay. So opponent has counter magic up this turn, so I'm not sure I want to run this Badger into counter magic. Let's see what we draw for the turn here. Yeah, slow shard. I'm just gonna go ahead and take this opportunity to play the slow shard out. Maybe brick them on resources here. Change course. Change course is pretty good. Allows them to put 3 cards into their crypt right away to make Crucible a little bit worse. I have no idea, Waffle. I do know that. Oh, you know, this was sloppy. I should have. I should wait until they go to activate their champion power to do this. Huh, I think if he champ powers this turn, actually, I'm probably just gonna crack this. Opponent still doesn't have stuff to champ. We have 1 single copy of Psychic Extension in our deck. I think I want to jam a Badger here. Nah, you know what? Big Nuki! 12 months in a row. Still great content. Thank you. I appreciate that, the continued support, mate. 12 months is a really long time. Thank you and welcome back. So now, okay, well, there's the wild threshold. So my opponent's hand is probably unlocked now. Okay, so, do I want to crack this or not is a real question. Yeah, I'm just gonna crack this. Yeah, there's no Dingler in the deck right now. That is correct. Okay, so unlock their second wild right away. It's possible that bullying that Crucible is too aggressive. Alright, well that means that their shields are down, so this Badger gets to resolve next turn, which is nice. Hopefully we find a shard so we can kill... Do I Badger or do I Champ Power? I think I'm supposed to Badger because I could have Verdict in their deck. Hold on 1 second. Jake needs something. Toddler. Dreadbanner actually isn't that bad. We got a Blamsmith out of the deal? Okay. Okay, Dreadbanner's bad when it goes back to our hand. Alright, we didn't get Windsingered this turn, so that's good. Riposte. Okay. So, To champ power or not to champ power? I think I'm just going to play the Blamsmith out here. He makes a Valor. We can Valor him up. End step will bin a Dread Banner. Valor means he's too big to Karn. We did get a 2-for-1 out of the Badger that made this Blamsmith, so... The banner could have provided the Scrouge for the Blamsmith, right? Okay, so they finally got their champ power going a little bit here. Succulent Cluckadon. Yep. There's a resource. God bless. Alright, so... I think I'm just passing the turn here. I'd like to empower Burning Tendrils at their end step and kill this Cluckadon. Again, I kind of want to not do it right away and be aggressive because I want them to use resources on their turn for counter magic. And in case they have a Wind Singer, I want to be able to prioritize Burning Tendrils and that. Running empowered Burning Tendrils into counter magic also isn't that bad because the rest of these aren't empowered yet, so they won't have their costs get increased. So let's empower this. It turns into a 6 cost that deals 6 to the troop and 4 to them. So let's go ahead and do that. Kill this. They take 4. Probably eating counter magic here. Verdict, sure. I am just going to pass the turn again here. I think we've got enough cards in our hand that we're kind of favored on a little bit of the waiting game. We've got 2 draws in the bank here. Again, I'm going to end step Burning Tendrils to try and kill this. Let's empower this. Survey says. And I think we're just going to do this 3 turns in a row. And then if they counter the third one too, the following turn we'll jam the Dark Heart down their throat. If they let this resolve, they're time rippling it. Okay. That's fair, I guess. I think I'm going to play Riftwarp Badger next turn. I'm going to start by cracking them for 3 and see what happens. Damage? Okay. Try and play out another Badger here. Oh, this one drew a card. I guess I should pay attention. I probably actually wanted to play the one that didn't draw a card. Counter magic. Yeah, that's... Yeah, I don't really want to riposte that. Makes this one cost 6, which is a little awkward, but meh. This riposte is being reserved for, like, a Arcane Focus or an Oracle Song. Cluckadon that costs 5 is fine. Get our double Clucker on, huh? So they don't have counter magic up right now, so I think we're just going to jam Dark Heart next turn. Yeah, just jam Dark Heart down their throat. Although Atlantic Plot Site is kind of appealing, but Arcane's kind of choked full right now, so let's just go ahead and play this. Pass the turn, this dies. Riposte's Ascension, yep, that's actually a good one to grab too. Time Ripple. Huh. Zoyan Nahari with the 8-month resub. Thank you for the continued support. I do appreciate it. I think our life total's high enough that we can just let that get bounced. I think I'm going to burn plus Fireball one of these Cluckadons. Yeah, and then I'll just start pushing damage sooner. That's aggressive. Alright, yeah. He just thinks he's far enough ahead. And this one draws a card, so, yeah, send me up. Crucible, okay. That's not bad. It's a little awkward with our Dark Heart, I suppose. Take 4 here. Empress of Ice. Sure. Okay, so our cards don't ready. Got it. And this Dark Heart's going to be pretty excellent. This will kill a Cluckadon. No point in attacking in because it won't ready, and then it just bounces off of there. So if they brick for a turn, this game's probably over because we'll have Riposte up to protect ourselves. We get Mass Poly Dinglered here, we'll feel pretty bad. Wow, the attack. So they have an answer for this? This attack has to mean they have an answer for this, right? Attack with both. I'm definitely playing the second one out. Alright. Windsinger's a pretty good one. So I'm going to try and kill them. So during my ready step, so this gives my opponent the resources back on my turn, and when I draw a card, they draw a card. So before I draw a card on my turn during my ready step here, I'm going to empower this Burning Tendrils and try and kill their guy, and then that'll allow my Dark Hearts to push through lethal as well. So if they have a brick, they're just dead here. Alright, everybody to the Ancient Kings. So they are not just dead, and they get a draw here. We need to go ahead and deploy the shards. We have Riposte up to protect ourselves from shenanigans. Attack for 19. Probably chump a Dark Heart since he's going to lose this next turn anyways. Could possibly eat this and go to 3, but going to 3 is a little dangerous against the Fireball deck. Okay. So he needs to have like counter magic plus our verdict plus a Mass Poly Dingler here. I guess Croc's pretty good too. Alright, I'm going to take 5 really quick, and my toddler wants something else from upstairs, so I'm going to take him up there and show me what he wants because he's having a fit because he can't have his way. So I'll be right back. We're going to play a couple more matches. Don't go anywhere. Thanks for hanging out, folks. Welcome back, folks. Thanks for sticking around. Any recommendations for a good deck to start grinding the constructed ladder? Yeah, Nuki, check these out. Where are they? These decks on there, I think, are like 40, 60, and like $110 or so. Any of them are reasonable. The last one, the one that's about $100, is one of the best decks in the constructed format right now. Very consistent, very powerful. It just won the most recent Platinum Plunder tournament, which is a 10-round Swiss tournament plus top 8. You blame me for wanting Cheerios. I am. Honestly, I can't. I'm looking forward to slightly less Magic and more Hex, Eternal, and digital games next year. These clients are great. Miss Spade with the 3-month 3-sub, a quarter of a year. Welcome back. Thank you for the continued support. I really do appreciate it. Yeah, I think so, Rob Gob. I actually the Yodel deck that's listed there is actually what I personally played all the way up into Cosmic this season with, just because it's so Well, let me think about this hand for a second. Yeah, I'm gonna keep this. The payoff on this hand is really pretty good if we hit even just a single Sapphire Threshold, and we've got 2 cards we can play if we just draw rubies. Anywho, the Yodel deck just it wins games very quickly, so it's a great deck to jump up the ladder with. So I ground all the way into Cosmic with that. Oh, you mean in the Hex Store? Yeah, the Yodel deck in the Hex Store is probably only about 10 to 15 cards off of the version of Yodel that I played into Cosmic, and most of that's improvement to the shard bases, like getting extra wells and extra duels, basically. The Yodel one is reasonable. I don't think the other two are particularly great, but the Yodel one is fine. All right, so there's a brick on this. It looks like my opponent's playing the bigger Kaigalichu deck. Hey, never didn't have it. And so because we have this transmog here, you we can actually just let them get a sack rabbit out here and not care. Because they're playing the bigger one, they might have a speed rabbits in their deck though, honestly. But I just want to get some velocity. I don't know, whenever I'm getting more than like, I don't know, 4 or 5 cards, I always just order from Hex Primal because it's easy and fast. The auction house, while convenient, is still kind of clunky. You could definitely save some money if you look around, like, use the trade chat and, like, buy from individuals. But that takes time and effort, and if you want to just, like, get to playing, it's easier to just use Primal. Yep, and they are... Huh, it doesn't have speed. Okay, well... So this gives them a resource every time it attacks, and can't be blocked by troops with power less. Alright, so we already have our one double Sapphire card in our hand, but I think we're pretty far off of playing this. And look, we drew the Fireball. God bless. Alright, well, now I'm just going to play this Fireball out here. Possible I should have played the Burning Tendrils, but I guess I could just jam this Linopost site now too. Yeah, let's just do that. That's way better. There's Crusader, which has the +1 and Crush gems on it, so Transmogrifade. This is another one. This one has speed. Weird. So their guys just don't... So, part of the reason I tapped out there was because I assumed the rabbits didn't have speed, just because the first one didn't have speed. Yes, set 1 and set 2 champions will rotate out along with set 1 and set 2 cards. Need some more crackers, bud? So, yay, a Crackling Bolt to draw as a card, so we can hopefully hit a resource. That's unfortunate. We got a Fireball and a Transmog that we can cast at least here. The most expensive cards in the Yodel deck, though, are not the ones that's rotating. While the actual Yodel deck itself is going to need to be changed. Almost every deck's going to need to be changed with the next set. But, the actual expensive cards will still be, like, the cards that cost the most money in the Yodel deck, like the Wells are like $3 to $4. So, those will all still be legal. Hey, that gives us our second Sapphire for that guy. I think I'm just going to fire off... Oh, I drew a burn. I was saying I fire off a Crackling Bolt here. I can actually Crackling Bolt this plus Champ Power, but I think I'd rather Crackling Bolt and, like, Burning Tendrils or burn this, perhaps. Yeah, I'm going to Burning Tendrils this, just, like, buffer our life total a little bit here. Again, we have to be careful how much of our life total we use as a resource in this deck, because Ruby and Sapphire don't have any ways to gain health. So that is going to be our target for Transmogrifade, because when this dies, they lose 2 life and draw 2 cards. So I'd much rather turn it into just a worse troop, and then hopefully burn or Burning Tendrils said troop. Just do this now since he's declared attackers. Turned into a 2-1. Oh, crap. So he can shift this over onto here. I guess I should have done it at end step. I guess we'll kill whatever he shifts this onto. Yeah, it doesn't do anything, so... Probably... Okay, we hit a resource. I think I'm going to lead on this. Next turn we can Psychic Ascension. And a resource. Alright, let's pass the turn here. Shift is basic, yeah, but he could have shifted during his second main phase. I'm going to Burning Tendrils this. Just get it out of there so he can't shift the plus power ability over onto the Underworld Crusader here. And then next turn we can play the Psychic Ascension, and then Burn can start generating some troops. Hopefully we get a random action that's pretty reasonable. These decks have a pretty hard time keeping up with Psychic Ascension if we draw. And that should pretty much lock the game up, since this is going to let us take out the Underworld Crusader here. So now, whenever we play an action, we get a random troop, and our champion's going to generate random actions. Discombobulate. I think this card might be playable. So it interrupts the card, and then it gives each of us a random card. So it's kind of like a strange Remand-esque effect. Transmogrifade. Actually, I want him to attack first, because I want him to not know what he's attacking into. So before blocks, let's Transmogrifade that. We got a... So continue to declare defense. Block here. Probably going to burn this to finish it off. Ooh, that's pretty good. So Rotten Rancor is going to bring this into play, which brings 2 more troops into play. Or just 1 troop, but still a good troop to get into play. Alright, well, we're gonna need some good ones here. Let's kill this off. That's a 1-1, alright. We just need to draw non-shards. Okay, that's not a non-shard. Good action. Scheme. Choose an action. Create. Okay. Cash scheme. We have Highlands Magus here. What do we want? What do we want more copies of in our deck? Transmogrifade? Burning Tendrils, perhaps? Lanupause Site? Lanupause Site's a little slow, honestly. I think we just need things to interact with this stuff. So I'm gonna select Transmogrifade here. Hopefully he draws a card and plays it pre-combat. Draws a troop. Damn it. I really wanted to draw a troop so we could hop in front of there. How many guys are you attacking with? Just those. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and jump with this. Says inspire another troop. That troop gets Spell Shield. Well, I'm going to jump with this and gain 4 here. Oh, and Power Burning Tendrils gives us 6 drops. Yeah, maybe that's fine. I don't know. I really want something to deal with this flying guy, though. Rift Warp Badger. Alright. You play this, draw 2 cards. It's a good sign. Suppressive Fire. 2 target troops can't block this turn. Alright. Play my Badger. Draw 2 cards. That's another Badger. That's not particularly great. It gets Spell Shield. We get a Blamsmith. That can summon 2 Dreadlings. I think I'm going to go ahead and deploy the Blamsmith. Yeah, and hold up Discombobulate. Just burn to the ground. Oh, I guess, yeah, burn to the ground probably would have been better. Yeah, I forgot about how many resources we have. That's fair. So we're actually dead in... We only get 1 more draw step here. I think I have to Discombobulate just whatever he plays here. Wait, what? Was there just... Does Discombobulate not make a troop? Are there no troops that meet that condition? That must be the case, huh? Huh. Ah, yes, the old Polymorph Dingler. Oh, that's a quick action. I could have waited. The start of your turn, bury top cards. All right, sweet. Well, we seem to have made it out. We could. There's a world where we could lose this game, but we're definitely getting farther and farther away from it. Got us a Bolt Spasm. All right. Go ahead. Maybe I shouldn't have used the Suppressive Fire all willy-nilly there. Oh, I should have attacked with this to trigger Assault. Raise your dinglers high into the sky. That's so weird. Alright, so we definitely want Mass Poly Dingler. I probably want this Chaos Gate. Crucible I could take or leave in this matchup. I definitely want Transmogrifade. I don't think Burn is good enough. Let me bring in Zakir. Let's give this a go. Discombobulate's actually a card that we could actually just play in this deck. Sand doesn't have our second threshold. It doesn't really do a whole lot until later in the game. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and mulligan this. Sand has a Transmogrifade, and pretty not terribly picky about what I keep at 6. Burning Tendrils is a good pickup. Acolyte Ashoku, sure. Crackling Bolt's an okay pickup there. I think I'm just going to go ahead and shoot this rabbit. I'm going to do that. This gives him the ability to play a ramp rabbit next turn and get a trigger in with it, but then we can just Burning Tendrils that afterwards, so I think that's fine. Yay, no ramp rabbit. Sweet. Sin. God, his deck has so many expensive things in it. Would love to find a landing pod site here so we can build some velocity up. There's an Underworld Crusader. Happy to transmog that. Kills us quickly and get some value if we kill it otherwise. Yep, I have a 1-1. Play that because it represents Fireball. 2 more turns away from this champ power thanks to Crackling Bolt. He's getting closer and closer to Sin, so we can actually play Sin next turn, but then we can burn it to the ground the following turn, so it's not a big deal. That's exactly what we were looking for. Let's get some more gas in the tank. And then next turn we can even do this. Probably seeing a Sin out of him next turn though, so we probably need to empower Burning Tendrils to kill that. Hold the burn to the ground for a later date. You know, now that we have Sapphire in the deck, I should probably just have a second Psychic Ascension on the board instead of these other random threats like Zakir. There's the Sin. So Sin is a 5/5 flying artifact dragon that whenever it attacks, you void the top card of your deck, and it creates a copy of the card voided that you can play for free. Alright, so let's play that. Go ahead and empower this up. It's a 5/6 dragon, sorry. Doesn't die to Crocosaur. Does die to Empowered Burning Tendrils, though. 6 to you, 4 to your face. Face! Get to the face! Alright, it's the champ power again here, so has 2 good hits in here, 2 medium hits, and 2 bad hits, so here's hoping to a bad one. There's a bad one. So Kaigalichu's power there for 4 charges, it flips the bottom 3 cards of their deck into their crypt, and then gives them a random card from their crypt back to their hand. Oh, really? That's gross. The old Uranaz as just a naked 5/5. That card doesn't seem great. Huh. There's a question. Do I burn this to the ground or play the Chaos Gate out? Let's play this out and draw a card first, see what we get. Huh, so I take 6 here? Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and Chaos Gate, I think. Gonna do that. Wipe these dorks out. It also means the board will be clear after next turn because I won't want to play anything else out. This Badger draws a card from landing plot site and also creates a random troop for us, so we can Badger plus Oracle Song next turn. Play this Badger out. Hey, like a Fireball that draws a card. Time to start getting ahead. Do this. I guess I could play this out too and just have 2 troops, but that's a little bit worse against a potential Crocosaur, which may or may not still be in their deck. Got another Burning Tendrils here, so plenty of things and card advantage. This build seems really sweet. Adding card draw to your control deck is good. Who'd have thought? Who'd have thought? Rotten Rancor. Probably targeting Sin, I assume. Oh. Oh, that has speed. Oh. Well, that's terrifying, so we're going to 8 here. Well, that's rough. Alright, well, we hit our 9th resource here, so we can just burn this to the ground, I guess. That's why one of the rabbits doesn't have speed, because this has speed. It's not a misclick. That makes sense. We're going to 3 here. Kind of low. Let's see what they have to play out here. They have a random troop from the Aborian Rootfather. Could very well just be dead here. Need Transmog. Another Burning Tendrils. Just dead, right? I guess I could hit this and see what we draw. Darkheart. Well, never mind. Take back what I said about being just dead. Play this out, so they have to sacrifice their... Oh, wait. Huh. Do I want to do this? Yeah, I think I want to do this. I don't think holding this up does a whole lot for us here. Dead interaction. Still dead interaction. Dead to Rotten Rancor, dead to Hero Fall. Please just attack. 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 Yeah, dead. That's unfortunate. They trade, but just dead to the 5/4. Man, do I want verdicts in my deck? Probably not. We weren't dead to a Haste Rabbit. A Haste Rabbit would only be 2 damage. We'd block the Crusader and then take 2. No. Rabbits are 2/2s. Yeah, I think I'm happy with how I boarded. Do you want Crucibles, maybe? Yeah, that could be fair. Just like they showed we have multiple Rotten Rancors in their deck. And the other thing. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's a mistake. I should definitely have Rancors in my deck right now. Or Crucibles in my deck right now between Rancors and the other thing. I'm unsure how my opponent's deck ever beats Angus with all of their 7 5s and 8 drops. Seems excessively greedy. So, feel like we got a little bit punked out of that last game. The speed Root Father is a big hit. I feel like we had all the tools we needed to win that game and just came up a little bit short. Probably because we didn't have Crucibles in our deck. That's a Crusader. That's really unfortunate. Actually don't have a way in our hand to kill this card currently. Well, I mean, that technically does it. Alright, well. I don't think we can just sit here and take 5 over and over again, so let's 2 for 1 their Sign in Blood. Oh, Darkheart, my old friend. How it sucks to be you again. There's another Crusader. Probably just dead here. I guess we can burn this to the ground. This Darkheart's not doing anything, though. It's the one without speed. Okay. Play this past the turn, I guess. Yep. Need more badgers. Yep. Well, the good news is these burning tendrils kill these things now, at least. I'm gonna empower this and kill this 3/3. Hopefully we can draw a Badger at some point, and then the Badger will eat the Gemborn Prowler, and then the Darkheart can come down afterwards to clean up. That's actually a pretty good pickup, because now we can Transmogrifade this. That gives me a chance to use my champion power here. Draw some cards. Zakir, alright. Do I still enjoy Hexalot? Do you see you playing it for a full year? Just wondering how you feel to be playing it for so long. I mean, yeah, if I wasn't having fun with Hex, I would have put it down by now. Been, you know, and honestly, you know, the biggest thing that, you know, determines things like TCGs, like Hex and Magic, is how good are the design teams and how often can they keep coming up with interesting and new formats. And so far, they've been really good at that. God bless it. Have another copy of the card that's insane against us. You have a 1/2, sure. What are the odds? What are the odds this Zakir lives? Gotta be real low, right? Just like actual 0% or just like effectively 0. Christie's played some of AZ too. I have not. I don't really play the PvE portion of the game. My hero has fallen. God, how much better would that have been as just a second Psychic Ascension here? Just like probably couldn't lose if that was a second Psychic Ascension. How many actions have we played? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That would have cost 9. Okay. Alright, I've had enough. Well, yep. We would have played Psychic Ascension that turn then. Yeah. Let's put another one of those on the board. Sorry, Zakir, you're being retired. The Badger got fixed a little while ago. Yep. Yep, of course. It was just a sweet card to put in there. And honestly, I think in the Mono Ruby build, it's probably still fine. It's just like another must-answer threat. But when we have access to Psychic Extension, because we're playing Sapphire anyways, we might as well just play the Psychic Extension. No, I don't think Psionic Flame is a very playable card. Like the point at which you start seeing dividends from the Psionic Flame is like 5 resources, and that's a lot. Open Dough with the 3-month resub with Twitch Prime. Thank you for the continued support, and I appreciate you watching all of the content. Welcome back. Thank you very much. Ah, the repair. Ah, the repair. It's actually about 3 o'clock, so this will actually be the last batch of the day afternoon. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out. Remember, I'll be back with Eternal card game tomorrow afternoon. I'll be back with more Hex on a Thursday afternoon. I might squeeze in some Magic Battlegrounds or Pokemon TCG one of these evenings before then. We'll see. Lanopost Sight, excellent pickup. If we could just, like, always play this card on 3, we would. Cosmic Dragons might be one of my all-time favorite constructed decks. I'm looking forward to screwing around with that archetype again once we get to Immortal, and we'll be able to screw around with that archetype with Wells in it, which will be great. We'll have better fixing, basically. Nah, we'll take a hit for 1 here. If he has a Underworld Crusader to play as his turn 3 play, I want to double burn the Crusader and then line up that on my turn. Yep, there's the Crusader. So yeah, I'm just gonna, again, discard 2 cards, opponent draws 2 cards, loses 2 life. The old Mind Rot Sign and Blood Split card. I think I need to change a diaper really quick. I'm gonna cast this Lanopost Sight and auto pass here. I'll be right back. Oh, Jacob. Okay, Subtle Striker. That doesn't affect us for a little while. Alright, well, that's a 4-4 already. That's really unfortunate. So, what do we want to do here? We want to either hit Shard into Transmogrifade or Transmogrifade into Shard. I suppose we could hit Shard into Burning Tendrils or Shard into Fireball as well. Another burn, perhaps. Alright, well, play this Badger out, I guess. Good old Depth Crawler. No, I don't want to trade there. Casualty of War, yep. Getting closer to my champ power. So, that's only a 6-6. God bless us, everyone. Three, have another 3. Maybe there's a chance that we live to get to the Psychic Ascension. Hit another removal spell. We can champ power. Got this Dark Heart going on. Happy to snap off this trade here. Probably not happy to trade here. Yeah, block. Yeah, no follow-up. So, the bad news to no follow-up is this is almost certainly dead. Oh, that's a super awkward draw. Because now, when this gets Hero Fault, I'm going to lose this other one out of my hand. That's really unfortunate. Yep. I thought it was 3. Well, we'll get to 3. Don't worry. I appreciate it. Welcome back, and thank you for the continued support. Runeer is one of their better draws there. Please brick on this. Please brick on this. Please brick on this. God bless. All right, so we're taking 5 here and then 5 again. So probably need to Burning Tendrils the Subtle Striker to champ power to kill this eventually. Doesn't have another unit in their hand. That's good. Yeah, I wish their timer on repairings would wait just a little bit longer. Yeah, I think the optimal play is to kill this and then hope to get a Fireball or a burn or a Transmog off of this to kill the rabbit. We're so close to bridging into Psychic Ascension here. Alright, Crackling Bolt means we're technically not dead. If this is a brick and they draw a brick, we're going to 2 next turn, and then we can Crackling Bolt to kill this, and then this puts us to 1 the following turn. Dead to another Speed Rabbit here, obviously. All virtually dead to any troop. Alright, there's 1 brick. Hopefully they're just going to build a house with all of their wonderful bricks. Another removal spell would be ideal. Okay. Badger's fine. Hopefully this makes a unit that we can play. So we can have 2 blockers here. That's unfortunate, a little bit shy. This is probably going to eat a Hero Fall or a Casualty of War. Hopefully this is a Shard and they have a Shard in hand. Don't Rotten Rancor me. Don't Rotten Rancor me. Playing this out is scary because of Rotten Rancor, but I'm pretty sure I need to. Yes, you can. Alright, well. Dad, I would like burn to the ground. Or another Tendrils. How about a Badger? What do I do here? He's got how many Speed Rabbits in here? 3 Speed Rabbits. Are these all speed? Speed, speed, Speed. So if he hits Rune Ear Hierophant, I could not be dead if I do this. I think I'm supposed to do this, though. Oh, I'm just dead to this in the air, right? Yeah. So I have to hit a transmog or something here. Rats! Rats! We're one unit, one resource short. Ugh. Ugh. Oh, we could have swung with the Badger. Oh, that's such a better line. Thank you. Yeah, that's way better. Definitely should have just chipped in with the Badger. Do this. Yeah, trim one of each of these this time around to play around Hero Fall a little bit. Bring in the Crucibles. Yeah, I think we should have... I think I agree with that line. We should have attacked with the Badger there. To try and find a removal spell for the Azuken. Unfortunately, we can't look to see what the top card of our deck is. This super medium. I'm going to catch and release. Seems actually better. It's got a Lighting Post sight into it. And Transmogrificade's Fade's one of our better cards in this matchup. Having sight on 3 is pretty good. Okay, Mass Poly Dingler. The way we're running against this person, our next draw is gonna be the other Psychic Ascension that's in our deck. Okay, good. Shards are good. We need shards. Do 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 do. Okay, there's an Underworld Crusader. Good target for the Transmogrifade and probably the burn. I'm gonna transmog this now. In case something that we can burn. Yeah, I'll burn it now. Draw a card. Oh, I've missequenced. I should have transmogged into burn before playing my resource because now I have a slow shard that draws a card, so if we draw like Dark Heart of Nulzun next turn, we could have played it out if I would have played slow shard this turn and then saved my other shard for the following turn. Get the Thunderbird back. Yeah. You enjoy that Sapphire card you can't replay. Wow, their hand must be poop. No, God, that was actually just a misclick. That one was actually just a misclick. Jake asked for crackers at the same time, and my mouse bumped over, and yep. Whoops. Yep. Okay. Watch the next card we draw be a removal spell that would have killed this, so that we wouldn't have had to take this damage. I don't know that I would have burned a transmog on this anyways, but we would have had the option to think about it. Dark Heart. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to transmog this 8/8. I think the average 6 drop is less power than 8. Almost certainly. We would have had this transmog in our hand to transmog it last turn, so we wouldn't have taken an 8-ball this past turn. We'd be up at a minimum 8 points of life. Yep, so we'd be up 8 points of life here, and we're not now. Really unfortunate. And now we're almost exactly dead on board because of my awful mistake. Jeez. So if we were plus 8 points of life here, we'd be at 19. And then we'd be able to live and mass Polydingler our opponent here. It's really unfortunate. That misclick ended up costing me the game. I guess I wouldn't have had the option to make that misclick if I would have just correctly sequenced my cards the turn before, though. Yeah, that's really unfortunate. All right. Well, it's a little bit past 3 o'clock, and Declan actually just woke up from his nap, so I'm going to go ahead and call it an afternoon, folks. Thanks a lot for hanging out here this afternoon while we battle some Hex TCG. I'm going to go ahead and I'll be back tomorrow afternoon at the latest. I might sneak on tonight after the kids and the wife go to bed to check out Pokemon TCG, because I've been meaning to do that. So, peace.